So yeah, today we're talking about Unturned, and if you saw the beginning clip, you know we will be talking about the status of the multiplayer and how I feel it's changed over the few years. But at first, we're gonna go ahead and dive in and do the perfect survival game, the first episode of that. Then we're gonna talk about Unturned 4.0 and what I expect and what I hope comes out of it. And then at the end, I have a little bit of an open-ended discussion thing that I want to, just kind of get out there and see what you guys think about it. Either way, I hope you guys enjoy the video. Leave a like if you did, and comment how you feel about Unturned. Anyway, let's just go ahead and jump right into the video. Unturned came out in 2014, but if you know the creator Nelson, he's actually been working on games before then, but in Roblox. He actually created a game called Dead Zone in Roblox, which is a lot like Unturned, and you can really see Unturned's roots through Dead Zone. Since the release in 2014, Unturned has seen new maps, new gameplay changes, weapons added, a complete overhaul with Unturned 3.0, and one coming soon with Unturned 4.0, and even a custom map editor. Unturned has seen a large fan base, all eager to see what 4.0 has to offer. But for now, let's talk about the current state of the game. When it comes to inventory, Unturned really took a inspiration from DayZ, and in a good way, and more or less replicated DayZ's inventory system. And what I mean by this is that each article of clothing has its own space for inventory, which I really like. I like having, your shirt have just a small space for inventory, your pants have a small space for inventory, then your backpack has this large space depending on how big it is. I mean, it doesn't really make sense for your shirt to have inventory, but I like that each article of clothing has its own properties. On top of all that, with a quick press of your button, you can bring up your gun and add and deattach attachments really quick, really smooth way of doing all that, and I really enjoy that. So with all that being said, Unturned gets a 5 out of 5 for inventory, and I think it's well deserved. So on to survivability. Let's go ahead and talk about what makes a survival game and what Unturned does good. First things first, in the bottom left hand corner of your HUD you will notice a blue line for thirst and a brown line for hunger. There's also a green one for, I guess, infection, you would call it. It's basically once it reaches 0, you die. Another thing that Unturned does well, though, is their loot system. You're never going to find loot in places you wouldn't expect it. If you go into a clothes shop, you're more than likely going to find cloth or just clothes in general. A gun store will have the very small, arms or rifles. The zombies are very active. If they hear a gunshot or hear you move around, they will quickly jump up and start following you and chasing you. As you see in this clip above, you can't just go into a city with a pistol and expect to come out alive. A lot of zombies will pretty quickly swarm around you. Now, the only thing I'm not really a big fan of in Unturned is the building aspect. For multiplayer, it's quickly ruined by everyone who spams it in these long pathways going up just to get a big overview of the map. But in single player, it just never felt rewarding to me. I don't know, just building a little structure by itself where no zombies would be around, it wasn't a lot of fun to me. I'd rather fortify somewhere inside the city, so I'm always constantly at distress and have something I have to worry about, but that's just more of a me thing. The last thing I'm going to touch on is the vehicles in this game. Now, the vehicles are done very well. There's a decent amount of different ones. There's recently added just a pedal bike, which is awesome because then you won't need to worry about gas, but it's very slow. Basic up and downs of a bike. So overall, I'd give Unturned a solid 4 out of 5 in this category. PvE in this game works as you'd want it to. There's hits to the head count. If you're using a gun, normally it's a one-shot headshot, kills the zombie. And if you have a melee weapon, there is a right-click feature for a more heavy attack. And if you do a sneak attack with that, normally you can get a one-hit blow depending on your weapon. So PvE in this game gets a solid pass from me. Now let's talk PvP, and I'm not going to talk kits. I'm just going to be talking strictly the gunplay in this game. So I'll be doing a lot of arena gameplay to be talking about this. So guns work like you'd expect them to. There's no problem with hitboxes. The only thing you really have to be worried about is the movement of your enemies. So overall, even in the PvP aspect, I think Unturned actually excels. If you want a hands-on feel, I recommend playing Arena, as it's a quick PvP fest. So overall, the combat can feel wonky at times, but I'd still give it a solid 4 out of 5. There's a wide variety of maps in this game, but my favorite happen to be the medium-sized map. Washington and PEI for me are undisputed the best maps in the game. But on top of that, if you want a bigger playing field, there's multiple maps: Russia, Hawaii. There's a whole community market. You can make your own map. It's really amazing what you can do with the map editor. I jumped into it for a little bit, and just spending 5 minutes on it without even a tutorial, I was able to play some stuff, and it didn't seem too complicated. There's a lot of variety even in the standard maps, so overall I'm a huge fan of the maps, and I've played a few custom maps and a lot of them are really well done, so I really can't give anything below a 5 out of 5 for this category. So if we add up all the points, Unturned gets a score of 18 out of 20, which is a 90%, so in my opinion, in its current state, Unturned is still worth a play, especially if you're looking for a really smooth survival experience. Like every other survival game, it's better with friends in a server, but Unturned, to me, the preferred way to play it is with a couple friends in a server alone, surviving, and not, jumping on multiplayer every now and then, but the PvE was always my favorite in Unturned. So after all that, let's go ahead and jump into the Unturned 4.0 talk. So the biggest thing for me right now, the reason why I'm not playing Unturned nearly as much as I used to, is that single player there really is much more to offer. I've explored most of the maps and had my little bases and whatnot by myself on those maps. Multiplayer is just becoming a kit fest, but I think that's more on the community to fix than the creator himself, Nelson. I don't think it's his job to fix the multiplayer servers, that's our job. So mainly what I hope comes out of it is just a more fulfilling single player / co-op experience, a more PvE experience. I would love for the whole community as a whole just to kind of like push kit servers to the side and focus more on vanilla and slightly modded servers, but I don't know if that'll happen. Either way, it was a small talk. I'm still excited for 4.0. I'll definitely be playing Unturned probably more than I have when 4.0 comes out. Either way, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys enjoyed this little rant at the end and enjoyed the first episode of the Perfect Survival Game. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll see you next time.